Hello everybody, this is Cesar, and today we're going to take a look to another guitar from my collection, which is a very special guitar. I would basically go through it and you will understand why. In this occasion, as always, we start with the case, and it's a case that is yelling, "Steal me, steal me, steal me." Let me give you a closer perspective. So the case is total vintage, is made of leather. You see here you have the Yamaha logo in a kind of vintage-ish style. And well, okay, still the carry-on luggage. Let me just take it up, please. Sorry for that. This is the problem of live videos, With the key there, right? And you see, I mean, it's very well crafted, and at the back you can see it has this metal vintage-ish thing, right? So it's the typical case that in an airport is yelling, "Steal me, steal me." So be careful with that. Well, here she is, a Yamaha SG 1820, and it's an iconic guitar for me. It's a fetish guitar for me. I would take you through the history of the Yamaha SG guitars in order for you to understand why this guitar is very special for me. So if you give me just 1 second. In 1976, I was 9 years old, Carlos Santana made this guitar famous because he was playing the SG 2000. And at that moment I was studying classical guitar, and I was totally fascinated by the sound of Carlos Santana's guitar. I think I told you in another video that that was the moment that I discovered the electric guitar. My eldest brother was bringing home Carlos Santana's music, and I was like knocked out with the sustain, and it was like a new world opening to me. On top of that, in the local guitar shop, they were having one of these guitars on display. So I was staring at the window, looking at the guitar, understanding I could not afford it because they were really very expensive guitars. They were at the mark of $3,500 to $5,000 at those moments. Well, but the history of these guitars comes even from earlier years. Yamaha started producing SGs in 1973, the SG30 and the SG35, they are collector pieces. Well, Yamaha kept on producing SG series 1000, 2000, 3000, up to 1988. And from 1988 to 2010, they were producing those guitars only at special order in the Yamaha custom shop. More or less 24,000 of those instruments have been produced. And in 2011 they came back with the new SG series, the 1820, which is my guitar, the 1820A, which is the guitar with active pickups, and the 1802, which is the guitar with P90s. So now you understand why the SG has such an important personal component for me. So now we will go through a very detailed description of the guitar, and you will see how the attention to detail is second to none. So let's start with the headstock, with the Yamaha inlay here in pearl, and it has Grover locking tuners. The locking tuners are not the ones that are locked on the back, they lock at the front. You just pull your string through, and when you start tuning, winding, they do a click and they lock it, and they lock the string, and they do stay in tune very well. So very, very good tuning machines. Then we have the nut. The nut is tusk. Now, the fretboard is rosewood. It's a beautiful rosewood, you see, really very dark. And the inlays are made of pearl, medium jumbo frets, 22 frets. And something that is very important for you to know is that the radius of this guitar is 13 3/4. So it's very flat. Then, for people who are used to very flat fretboards, remember that I'm classically trained, this is really ideal. You practically cannot feel the curve. A beautiful fretboard. Now the body is mahogany with a maple top. And it's carved, it's beautifully carved, so it's like a violin, kind of PRS-ish like. All the binding in the guitar is ivory. All the binding is ivory. Beautiful. Now, the pickups in this particular model are Seymour Duncan 59, Seymour Duncan 59, at the neck and at the bridge. You can choose another two different models. The 1820A, which has active pickups, EMG 85s at the neck, and EMG 81 at the bridge. Or you can choose P90s, and then if you choose P90s, the model is the 1802 with SP93, Seymour Duncans too. I chose the humbuckers because I'm very much into humbuckers than into P90s, to be honest. And I don't like active pickups simply. So if we zoom out a little bit, you see the 3 positions toggle switch. Neck, the 2 pickups and the bridge pickup, and you see the 4 controls for volumes, 2 volumes and 2 tones. There's no possibility of coil splitting here. Now, bridge and tailpiece are Tone Pros. The bridge is a Tone Pro AV-R2 and the tailpiece is a Tone Pro T1Z, and they have a characteristic that makes them different to the traditional Gibson-ish like tailpiece and bridge. And what it is that you would see here you have the possibility to use an Allen key, which comes with the guitar, in order to tighten the screw and keep the bridge attached to the main structure. So when you're changing the strings, your bridge will not become loose. So you will protect your finish, and etc., etc. And it has one at each of the sides of the bridge, and the same happens with the tailpiece. If you see there, you can keep the tailpiece attached to the main screw. So when you're changing your strings, the tailpiece will not fall, not become loose, which is a very good idea. So there you can see the serial number underneath the model, and the guitar is made in Japan. This guitar, those guitars are handmade in Japan. So here you see a perspective of the Grover tuning machines. As we said, they lock at the front, they don't lock here. They don't lock here. This is funny. Don't throw the guitar to the bin. The neck is mahogany, and it's a very chunky neck. If you like thin necks, this is not your guitar. It's a very chunky neck. I like chunky necks. It's a set neck. And with the light I have and the shiny polish of the guitar, you may not appreciate, but this is mahogany, of course, and it has a beautiful, beautiful grain. Mahogany. I want to give you a shot of the attention to the detail in the neck joint, the heel, and all the finish is absolutely flawless. Absolutely flawless. Even the small detail of putting this soft padded end at the strap lock. Absolutely flawless. 10 points. Now comes an interesting or controversial point about the technology that Yamaha is using in these guitars. If you look to the sales brochure of Yamaha, they say they have applied the technology to build a guitar which is called IRA, Initial Response Acceleration. Well, it's long to explain, but the bottom line is that they apply the specific vibrations to the finished guitar in order to somehow getting the guitar more ready to be played, in order to avoid, according to Yamaha, that period of the guitar getting used to the vibrations of the strings, etc, etc, etc. So they say they get with this a more vintage-ish sound. Is it true? Is it not? I don't know, and I don't want to go into that discussion. If you want to learn more about the IRA, you go, please, I will put a link on the comment sections, and then you can take your own conclusions. My opinion, well, I don't find the difference, right? But anyway, I mean, probably my ears cannot get those differences, are not trained enough, who knows? Now, things you need to know about this guitar. First of all, remember it has a very chunky neck. It's a C profile, chunky neck, big neck. If you don't like chunky necks, this is not your guitar. Second, remember that the radius is 13 3/4. This means that it's very flat, so it's not difficult to bend the strings. You will do big bendings without a lot of effort, and on top of that, the scale length is the same than Gibson, so it's easy to play. You will find it easy on your fingers. The fretboard at the same time is wider than a normal electric guitar. It's even a little bit wider than my Gibson Les Paul Standard 2015. So it means that if you don't like wide fretboards, it's not your guitar either. And the last thing you need to know is that it's a very heavy guitar. It's 4.7 kilos, which is 10.6 pounds. You need to take this in account if you're looking for a light guitar. This is not your guitar in any way, shape or form. On the other hand side, the sound is absolutely gorgeous. You're gonna listen to the guitar in my next videos. And for me especially, this personal component that we have discussed at the beginning makes this guitar really very special, and this is why this is one of my favorite guitars. So this has been the review. I hope you have found it interesting, and see you very soon in my next videos. Bye!